Hey SK, how are you? Good morning, Miss Nina. How are you all this morning? I know this is very unusual for me to be on this time of morning. Good morning, Miss Shannon. Good morning, Miss Latanya. Hello, Miss Maydell, Miss LB, Miss Jeanette. Happy Saturday. Hello, Miss Kimberly. Hello, Miss KB. Thank you for being a member for 2 months, Miss Rita. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Ruth, Miss Florida Red. I'm very well, thank you. Good morning, Miss Renee, Miss Letty. I think that's what that says. Let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Good morning, AR girl. Good morning, Miss Lorraine. Hey, T Loves fam, Miss Bertha, Miss Brenda. Hello, Miss Johnson. Good morning. Good morning, sis. I didn't want to even bother you this morning, sis. Good morning, Miss Wendy. I didn't want to keep you on. Hello, Leo Girl 82. How are you? I don't want to keep you all for long, but I had something on my mind this morning and I wanted to talk about. And I've been running across a lot of children. Um Okay, from South Carolina. Okay. Oh, you've been up since six, sis. You should have texted me. But I haven't been asleep yet. but so I've been running across a lot of children on these platforms. A lot of them that is not even of age to have a channel or page on social media. Good morning, sea, soil, and sunshine. Um, and I'm feeling a way about it because a lot of these children are seeming to be coerced and very rehearsed. And I just believe that nowadays people are using their kids for an income. They're not out doing, going out like we do every day to work. Um, they're using their children to bring in the income for them. And a lot of time these children are looking very uncomfortable, like they don't want to be there. They're exposing their children to too many things that children don't need to be exposed to, especially at a very young age. I was watching this young lady, and she had her daughter on Father's Day. They made a video, and the little girl she looks no older than about 8 or 9. I don't remember her name. But she wear a little ponytail. She has beautiful eyes, a fair skinned young lady. I'm pretty sure many of you have seen her on Facebook or on YouTube. And she was speaking on deadbeat fathers and how telling the parents not to be a deadbeat parent and what fathers should do and how they should be thankful. You can tell to me that her mother rehearsed her very well, not only from the cuts that you can see in the video. Occasionally you'll see the breaks where like they had to edit the video, but just the words that she was saying. And I don't understand why nowadays that we put young children into adult business. Although the lady said that the young lady, those were all of her words. Okay, Miss Maydell said she saw that too. The lady said that was all of her words. And oh, okay, Miss R said is Casey is her name. Okay. And she said it was her daughter's words, but just the language that she used, in my opinion, it seemed like an adult rehearsed her before she did the video. And although she has her own thoughts and opinions about her father because he's absent in her life, the way she articulated the video, it just seems too mature for her age. And I do understand that there are very mature children out here, but the way it was said, if you saw it, um, it was just a little bit too much for someone of that age. She started to say, "Thank God my stepfather stepped up and now he's my father." It was just like, okay, we understand how children talk and we understand that children have feelings with the father being absent in their life. I was a single parent home. My father wasn't in my life, but um, I really didn't think much about him because I didn't miss a beat without him being there. Luckily, my grandfather stepped in of his place as well as my uncles. And so I didn't miss him. My mother didn't talk about him to us. So I didn't feel that void. And even when I did speak on him, it was very short and sweet. Really didn't have anything much to say to about him or to him because he was a stranger to me in a sense. Only seeing him occasionally. So, and then you're exposing them to pedophiles. I've seen young children on here with bathing suits on, inappropriate clothing for children of that age to have their buttocks almost hanging out of their clothing and shirts tied up on social media. I think some things need to be left behind closed doors and not put out there for the world to see, especially when you don't know who's watching you. And then you have these adults who write these cruel and vile comments to children, bringing down their self-esteem, bringing bringing them down, um, their confidence, pointing out their flaws, and they're just children. So I truly believe that there is a time and a place for everything, and of course, um, if your children are they're talented and you want to showcase their talent, yes, but making this a job for children is robbing them of their youth and also their innocence. When we were younger, we wasn't allowed to speak on adult matters. We wasn't allowed to sit up in adults' faces and listen to their conversation. So a lot of the things that the young lady was saying at our age, we didn't worry about or we didn't hear because we wasn't allowed to not express ourselves, but allowed to sit in adults' face and to listen to what they say, and it sounds as if they are starting to repeat or being rehearsed. And I just think it takes away their innocence. Children, especially of a certain age, should be concentrating on playing outside in the summertime, being with other children, um, reading books, studying, spending time with family, not sitting in front of a phone or a camera for hours putting out content for people. I just don't understand the way people are bringing their children up nowadays. And then you run across the videos, and we've seen them from our homegirl. They're listening to all the vile music in the background, and the kids is just popping they behind like they 34 and they 4. They shouldn't be exposed to certain things at that young age. What you feed them when they're younger, that's what they carry on, and they hold those things as truth. And then when they say things or do things that you find inappropriate, when you don't want them to say it or do it, now you want to discipline them, hit them, curse them out, but all along you were engaging with them in these activities until it embarrassed you or till it made you look a certain way in the light. And so I just really want us nowadays to just really get back to the way that we used to be, letting children go outside and ride bikes, letting them play with other children their age, letting them taking them to parks and to the zoo and things like that, because they're spending too much time in front of phones and computers, and a lot of times speaking to adults. And adults are, I really don't get how adults are really on these children pages, engaging with these children and having conversations with these children that are 30 years their junior, 40 years their junior. Like, what can you possibly be on a child's channel talking about? And I was on Muffin. This is when I was a subscriber to Muffin and I was following her. People were coming on the platform, and her son, Darion, was on there cooking. And I'm not sure if all of you are aware, but Muffin has a son that is openly gay. He calls himself Bella, but it wasn't him. It was Darion. And Darion was cooking, and all of these adults were making rude comments to him, calling him gay, calling him the F word, calling him the S word. And I'm looking at the comments and I'm like, these are adults talking to a child. You would have a fit if someone said these things to your children, but yet you come on here and spew this type of venom on children, and you sit back and laugh at it. And the young man ended up crying on the live, which broke my heart. And so I messaged Muffin and wanted to talk to him, and I sent him a little blessing for him to go get some ice cream or something, because I just felt so bad that he had to endure that, and all he wanted to do was come on and cook and create some content for his mom's page, but yet he was subjected to all of these adults just crucifying him, and it was ridiculous to me. So I'm going to get up in the comments and I'm going to read what some of you all have to say. Good morning, Ma. Good morning, Miss Florida Red. Good morning, Miss Lawanda. um Good morning, Sunsaray. So Miss Sunsaray say, "Oh, good morning, my beautiful cousin. How are you doing this morning? Hey, everyone. Happy Saturday chat. I am well. Good morning. Good morning, my grandmother and my mother is here. Good morning, Gramps. How are you? Good morning, Miss Tracy. Good morning, Miss Stephanie. Um, Miss R says, no child, in my opinion, should be disrespectful towards any adult. And that's how I feel, Miss Rita. Um, Children nowadays are getting beside themselves, interacting with too many adults and not learning how to stay in a child's place. You have children now here talking about, oh, that's not my daddy anymore, or that's not my grandmother anymore, all because their mother has fed them all of this mess that they had no business even hearing. And now you have fed your child this poison. And even though it may not be true, and it may be true, a child has no place in hearing any of that. That is, you call your home girl. If you need to just talk, call your home girl, call your mother, call somebody else in, but you don't talk to your children about those type of things. Hello, Miss James, how are you? Miss Leo girl say yes, she is grown. Yeah, a little bit too much for my liking. T Loves Fam said many of the parents are all about going viral to get money, which is sad. No morals. Absolutely, cousin. And like I said, their children are bringing in the paychecks now. A lot of them sit at home and don't even work, and they just have their children make content on YouTube and Facebook, and they literally sit back as this young boy, I forget his name, Ryan, I think his name is, that my niece was in love with a couple years ago. And Ryan and his dad started off on the channel on YouTube. They started off in a modest little a house, in a little suburban neighborhood. And Ryan would come on there and review toys and things like that. And within a couple years, Ryan, them parents had a mansion, and it was all off Ryan's back. That little child had no business sitting in front of that phone or computer for that long. Um, Bringing in an income for his parents. That's the parents' job. Let the children be children. That's what's wrong with the children of this day and age. They're not being children. They are put in adult situations and adult conversations, and they don't have a chance to be a child, just to be innocent and free from all of the stress of their parents. They shouldn't be trying to bring in an income for the household. Yes, if this is something that they want to do on, occasionally, yes, I agree. But to have your child sitting in front of a phone as if it's a job to bring in the sole income for your household is ridiculous to me. Good morning, Miss Celeste. Good morning, Miss AK. Good morning, Miss Lori. Hello, Money Message. How are you? Miss Celeste says everyone hit the like button. Thank you, Miss Celeste. Miss Maydell said, why was a mother tell her to talk about that? Not only are you teaching her to be disrespectful, but she's going to disrespect her. Hello, Miss Walker. I agree with you. Hello, Thompson. How are you? I agree, Miss Maydell. That was very disrespectful and rude. Um, I don't know the circumstances behind her mother and her father's situation, but that shouldn't even be on the child's brain to even be worrying about what the father was supposed to have done at her age. She is being taken care of. She has a stepfather that takes care of her as well, and he stepped in the role of being a father. Enjoy that. Don't have that baby so caught up into what her father is not doing. She will get to that bridge in due time. But this is not the age for her to be worrying about that. She has a father that's in her life, that's providing for her, that's nurturing her, that's guiding her. Good morning, Miss Florida Red says, right, twerking and dancing vulgar. I mean, they pop it harder than I ever popped it, Miss Florida Red. I've seen some kids. I'm like, oh my God, what did you learn that from? And not to say that I have never listened to rap music or anything around children, but when I am mindful of what they're saying, I turn the station because I don't believe that they should be listening to those type of things. And then they're going to be curious to what those things mean. And now you have to explain things that you shouldn't have to explain to children that are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. Hello, Miss Brenda. Hello, Miss Geraldine. How are you? Miss Sunsaray says, everyone, please hit the like button. I see we're having low numbers this morning, but we know everybody's doing the stuff to get the 4th of July together. Absolutely. I didn't expect this many people to actually be in here. This is not, this is nowhere near my normal time to come on. But I've just came across a few videos like that this morning, and I thought it would be something interesting for us to talk about. Um, with my cousins, I wanted to talk about it with you all because, like I said, I love to hear your thoughts and opinions and your perspective of things. Miss Arce, they should be building their self esteem. Those trolls are cruel to these babies. Absolutely. And the things that they say, they will be ready to kick down somebody's door if somebody said that to their children. Yet they have enough nerve to come on the internet and hide behind a phone and spew hate to babies. It's unbelievable. Miss Florida Red says dressing toddlers as an adult and giving them grown up hairstyles, young mothers, young grandmothers, etc. Yes, I don't believe in, you know, um children with their buttocks hanging out of their shorts. And, you know, even though you may think it's cute, we have to be mindful of the people that you don't know that you're exposing them to. And it may be some people that you know that you're exposing them to that has that's a pedophile or have or molesters or child predators. So you know they're not in the right mental state, so therefore your child is just a piece of, you know what, to them. They don't consider the age, and some of them prey on the younger ones. Miss Shannon said I wasn't allowed to sit around my mom company. I was in bed. Yes, Miss Shannon, we were definitely not allowed to. You came in there to ask a question, everybody shut up talking. You ask your question, you get out, they resume talking when you get out. Nowadays, even I see it in my family, and I be having to say, you get out of here, we talking. You know, children just sitting around with their mouths open, you know, listening to every word that you say, taking it all in. So we have to be mindful what we do and what we say in front of children because they are very impressionable. And the things that you say, and a lot of them trying to be just like their mom or just like their dad. So they start to imitate the behavior or the language of the parent that they look up to or the people that they're around the most. And if you're saying a bunch of vile things, cursing, um, talking about folks and stuff around them, they're going to pick that stuff up, and that's going to become a habit for them because they're going to start to become products of their environments. Whatever they're used to, whatever they're accustomed to, is what they're going to learn. And if they're around you the majority of the time, picking up these type of things, they're going to mimic that behavior. Miss Rita says, hit the like button, everyone, please. Thank you, Miss Rita. Miss Sunsaray said, good morning, Florida Redwood got you going on, what you got going on this morning. Miss Walker says they looking at their parents and they wonder why the kids like they are. Kids need to be with kids. Absolutely. Good morning, Miss Johnson. How are you? Good morning, Miss April. Sorry, y'all. The comments flew up on me, so I have to scroll back up. Okay, Miss Florida Red's talking to Sunsa Ray. Miss James says some adults are extremely immature. Yes, and they still have the mind of adolescent, and they can't think beyond that. And so they don't find anything wrong with what they do and what they say in front of their children. I was watching a live about a salon that this trap salon in Mississippi, I think it was in, and the young lady was telling her story about how all of them got fired or they quit. And her children was in the background making noise and she screamed, shut the F up. And I was like, you got to be kidding me that children are doing what children do, and that's play, make noises. And because you're trying to get your story out on the internet and how you feel slighted by this woman, just forget your children. They got to shut the F up while you talking about nonsense on the internet. Like it was ridiculous. I wanted to jump through that phone when she told that baby that. Miss R said, yes, Mika, it's so sad. My grands could never because I raised my daughters to be mothers that allow their babies to be kids as long as they can. Absolutely. And as they should. Good morning, Miss Pam. How are you? Good morning, Miss Walker. Miss Lawanda says, hit the like button, cousins, please, and thank you. Thank you, Miss Lawanda. Miss Sorta Red said, Mika, it's a generational thing because children are really having children and not being taught the right things like we were. I agree with you, Miss Sorta Red. And the younger they begin to have them, and especially when they're already immature. They have not even matured into a grown an adult, because age doesn't have anything to do with a lot of things nowadays, because you can be 30 something, as we see on a daily basis. You can be 38 years old and still have the mindset of a child. And so you don't think it's inappropriate to throw your thing around them in their face and walk around in bra and panties in front of young boys who's about to go into puberty. They can't distinguish between their mother and a, another woman. All they know is they see boobs and they see behind. They're not thinking about the fact that that's my mom and I shouldn't be looking at her in that way. They are going into puberty. So they're hormonal. All they're thinking about is behind and tits. That's all they see. They don't care if it's on their mother. You exposing their mind to things that shouldn't be exposed to. And now they're off thinking about tits and boobs at a young age, when they that should be the last thing on their mind. But it's thrown up in their face, paraded around them like it's some type of freak show. So you don't think they are going to think about that when it's probably already crossed their mind because they done ran across it somewhere else? Like, we got to do better. Good morning, Miss Michelle. Good morning, Miss Judy. Miss Brenda says, I don't watch these young people pages. I don't feel they have anything to offer me as a 55-year-old. Some of the parents have no morals. I'm with you, Miss Brenda. Miss Michelle said the parents are making a living off their children. Wow, yes. You have to go check Ryan out. He's a young man, and they're primarily, I don't know if they're only on YouTube, but I know my niece used to watch him on YouTube, and she used to want every toy that this young man reviewed. And they went from a little house baby, now they have a mansion with a swimming pool and everything, all off of Ryan reviewing toys and sitting in front of a phone all day. Miss Lawanda say they use their children as pawns to gain views and money for adults, basically pimping out their kids, not allowing kids to be kids anymore. Miss Lawanda, I almost made my title "Stop Pimping Your Children," but I didn't even want to go there. But we have the same thought process, Miss Lawanda. Good morning, Miss Lakeisha. Miss Lawanda's okay, it came in it. Twice. Miss Tracy, Cooking with Tracy, say happy fourth cousins. And if you're not following Cooking with Tracy, please go follow our cousin and encourage her. Miss AR Girl says social media has took over a lot of people's lives and mine. It done got ridiculous. I agree with you, AR Girl. Everybody's looking for that next come up, for that next bag, that next viral video, as one of the cousins said, a way out of their situation. And people take to kids more than they'll take to adults, especially a woman. So they feel like, okay, I'm going to throw my children in front of the camera and let that be that. But it does them no good in the long run, because like I said, you're exposing your children to things that they have no business being exposed to. And then you have to explain. I'm sorry, y'all, have to get up and plug my laptop up. And then you have to explain things that you shouldn't have to explain for a very long time, because now you have introduced them to things that they had no business being introduced to. So, I really don't get it. And then, like I say, when the children start to get out of line and they start to be disrespectful and rude to the parent, now all of a sudden you want to correct them, or um discipline them, because now the joke's on you, is not funny anymore. You know. So that's why you have to, and then that's why they don't understand that what they're doing is not right, because you're sending them on a roller coaster ride. 1 minute they're allowed to twerk and they're allowed to say cuss word, just say it one time, and just do this and just say this. And then when it's making you out to look like an unfit parent when you're out in public, and they and they show out in public. Now you want to chastise them. No, you allow this, and so that behavior that they're going to carry on, because this is the behavior that you allow. And so they don't know that it's not right, because you allowed it for so long, only because you're embarrassed that you have something that you want to say now, which is just unreal to me. You can't do kids like that. You can't yo-yo them around. What, you have to teach them, and teach them one way and stick with it. Miss Maydell said, growing up, we were not allowed to use the word lie and pregnant. Now they cuss, drink, and smoke. Good morning, Miss Arlen. We wasn't allowed to say lie. Definitely wasn't allowed to say lie. We had to say telling stories, fibbing, um, or something like that. We definitely wasn't allowed to say lie. And my sister actually just got on one of my nieces that haven't been around us in a long time for, her mother's selfish reasons. But she told my brother in law, "You a lie." And my sister said her neck snapped when she said it, because she couldn't believe it came out of her mouth. And so she had to tell her that that's not a word that she should be using. That's not a word she's going to use. And then my sister had to explain to her why, because she was so used to using that word around her mom, and her mom didn't see anything wrong with it. Okay, y'all, hold on. I'm trying to. Okay, my mind's already got him out of here. Early in the morning, honey. Woo, Jesus. Miss Brenda says dancing with their legs wide open, wormy, and winding their bodies like a little snake, honey. Moving their bodies like snakes. I'm telling you, some of them can pop it better than I ever could. Pop, lock, and drop it. And I'm just like, when I go on TikTok, I see all these children doing all of these dances, and a lot of them are vulgar. And I'm like, where's your parents? Why is nobody monitoring you? Just like one day, North, Kim Kardashian and Kanye's daughter went on live and did a tour of her house, and Kim laying up in the bed. And it wasn't until her daughter went in her room and said, "I'm on live," that she even knew her daughter was on live on TikTok. And Kim goes and say, "No, you're not. You're lying. You better not be on live." And she started giggling, and Kim took the phone and cut it off. But while you're laying in the bed with your phone in your face, not paying attention to your children, she's on live taking them a tour of your house. Even though you all put your house on, social media all the time to brag about what you have, to showcase what you have, whatever you want to call it. It's certain areas that we know that people don't show every part of their house that's off limits. Now you have a young girl in the house with the phone in her hand, with no rules, obviously, and no care about what you're about to say to her, and she's going around the house showing parts that maybe you didn't want everybody to see, little hidden gems. Maybe you didn't want to let people know where your cameras were located, or whatever the case may be. She was not monitored. But then you want to get on her when she does it, but obviously she felt free enough to do it. And when was you going to actually get out of your bed and put your phone down and go check on your children? Miss Shannon said their ears are glued to the conversation. Yes, I told you, somebody in my family had one of the little babies had taco neck. Me and my mom was talking, and my mom, my back was turned towards her, and so I didn't see her. But my mom just started telling her to turn around and to get out of our face. And I'm like, "What happened?" And she said, blah blah blah. She was all in our mouth as we was talking. I look up and she's staring with her mouth open, trying to listen to what we were talking about on the couch that was across the room. It was unbelievable. But her mom is young, and her mom acts like a child. Her mom allows her older siblings basically to raise her when she's not with her father. And so she's used to being in adults conversation because her mother don't have any boundaries, no rules. She's like her little friend. Miss Sunsaray says, yes, that broke my heart too when they were being mean to Bella. That's why now when he passes the camera and someone's on it, he hides his face. It has affected him already. I just ask God to bless him. Yes, Miss Sunsaray, I wasn't even talking about Bella. I was talking about Darian, but I see how they do Bella as well. And when he wear his nails, like she already explained his lifestyle to you all. No matter what you think about him and his age and him coming out to be gay, that's neither here nor there. That's something for him and his mother and them to deal with in their home. But for you to come on here and to basically pick at him for who he is, or who she is, excuse me, to pick at her, it's ridiculous to me. Respect her. You don't have to agree with it, but respect her. And on top of that, that's a child. Keep your opinions to yourself. Teach differently in your home if that's what you don't want to see. But if a child is gay, they're gay. But Miss Shannon says, hold on one second, cousins. Miss Shannon said they will repeat everything you say. Absolutely. Good morning, Miss Myra. Yeah, I saw that. My admins got them out. Miss AR Girl says, I always stand on watch what you do and say around kids. Absolutely. We need to stay in a child's place and out their face. Go play with the other children. Yes. Good morning, Miss Jacqueline. Miss Florida Red says, I've said it before, but I can't say it enough. These are the type of chats I enjoy. Life and everyday situations and events, Mika. Thank you. You're welcome, Miss Florida Red. And like I said, I'm definitely going to try to bring y'all a lot more real life situations. We're definitely going to still talk about old girl. I was catching up on her this morning because I was behind, but I do have my notes for that to do later on today, depending on how I feel. I have a really bad toothache. And or tomorrow, but I do have my notes, about 4 or 5 pages of notes for you all. So I'm ready, but I just don't want to, it's a lot of more things that we can be focusing on and teaching other young mothers who are afraid to come in the chat, who are not as bold as you are, to come in the chat and give your opinions and your thoughts, who are listening and can take away and do take away from what we conversate about over here. Miss Sensoray said, girl, my mom and a lot of you guys, mom didn't say a word. She just gave us that black mama eye. And baby, we knew to get out and don't say a damn thing or you getting our ass beat down. Absolutely. Absolutely. And y'all know how I am with my facial expressions. So my face speaks for me. When I bat these eyelashes, or I cock my head a little bit too much, they already know don't play with me because I ain't one of your little friends. Hello, Pow Pow. How are you? Miss Lori says, it breaks my heart to hear children being spoken to like animals. Then parents want to hit their kids for saying the same things they hear. Absolutely. They're only repeating what is constantly said and doing what's constantly done around them. Is what they're being exposed to. And the most pivotal points of their life, you are introducing this type of things in their life, and so that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to carry out. The children spend the majority of the time at home, not in school, at home. That's what they should learn most of their lessons from, is in the home. Good morning, I see you looking, Andrews. My grandmother says you are right, Florida Red. They should help a lot of young people having babies. Thank you, Dial, for your lesson today. You welcome, Gramps. Miss Jacqueline says, tell it all, girl. Hello, Miss YouTube on fire. AR girl. Okay, she's talking to Lori. Miss Jacqueline says, I also raised my sons, no shirt or shoes, no coming in my kitchen. You heard me, Miss Jacqueline. I don't like shoes in my house because you walked outside. People like your girl done spit everywhere. Dogs done urinated and all kind of mess. And you think you're gonna walk in here where sometimes I walk barefoot through my house with your shoes on that done came across all type of contamination and bacteria, E. coli, salmonella. Y'all know I ain't got it all when it comes to that type of stuff. All type of stuff you don't walk on. You think I'm gonna walk on it with my bare feet? No, don't bring your shoes in my house and don't come in my kitchen before washing your face and brushing your teeth. Like these are things that we should be teaching our children instead of putting them in front of a camera before they even wash their face or brush their teeth and say hi to the fans. What you got to tell the fans? Show them your hair. Do this, do that, like they're little puppets. They are not little puppets. My mom said hit the like button, cousins. Good morning, Miss Jaleesa. Miss Jaleesa says, I just wonder what will people do if there was no social media. Some people really be all into it, like not no outside life of social media. I absolutely agree with you, Miss Jaleesa. And I laugh when people always say, we do this for the money or whatever. It's like, okay, but that's a portion of it, but we not on here every day, all day. I'm not going to be on here every day, all day. I have things to do outside of social media. On top of that, I can provide more of a help to people off of the platforms than I can on because not a lot of people going to open up on social media. So I'd rather deal with people outside of the social media and help them get through life and navigate through their situation, opposed to come on here and talking about people or whatever the case may be. This can be your end all be all. This should be in addition to or a stepping stone to another direction. But if they choose to change the rules of these platforms, or choose to shut them down, or choose not to monetize us anymore, then what are you going to have to fall back on? What are you going to have in your toolbox to sustain your livelihood? It has to be more than just social media. But social media has made it very comfortable for them to come on here and to make a living out of their quote unquote content, when the majority of the time we're just following people around their house, watching them get bigger and bigger, and they teeth right out their mouth and all kind of stuff like that, because for the most part a lot of them, all they do is want to eat in your face, and lay in the bed and show you what they doing and show you what type of nail polish they're about to use on their fingernails today. Or, let me throw this sloppy ass food together. Oh, I forgot my grandma name in here. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me throw this food together, and y'all can watch me. Just anything to say I got content. I can't stand when they call themselves influencers, because they're not influencing anything but for people to be obese and unhealthy, a lot of them, and to be disrespectful and vulgar in front of the world. It's nothing cute about it. Miss YouTube on Fire says, yes, this is a good topic. I say this all the time. How these kids are being exposed for a check. If they're being exploited, Miss YouTube on Fire, for financial gain, and their parents have no remorse for it. Like they don't care. They do not care. But that's why a lot of times when they become older, they don't want to go out and seek anything outside of social media anymore because their parents have taught them how to just sit in front of a camera and curse people out and walk them around your everyday life, exposing your everyday life, but then get mad when somebody have a comment on it or opinion on it. But they set them up to be lazy, very lazy. And what type of education are they going to get beyond high school years? Not saying that you have to go to college, but you should always be learning something. Go to vocational school, um, go to the military. I don't suggest it, but a lot of people do when they graduate. And thank you for your service. Is there any military people in here? But teach them how to be able to sustain a lifestyle with if social media was to shut down today. Because it's too late when everything jump off and get deep to try to figure life out. You should always have a plan B. Miss YouTube on Fire says, especially disabled and handicapped kids, it's too much. Yeah, I have definitely. Give me 1 second, you all. I'm sorry, I had to drink something. I have definitely seen them talk about children, and when they get mad, they're all for the child. But then when they get mad at the parent, oh, they start calling the children all out of their names and using their disability to get back at the parent. It's like, what kind of person are you? Who raised you? You should be embarrassed of yourself, but instead of embarrassed of themselves, they continue on and think it's cute. I just don't get it. And then, a situation happened with Kwani. I don't know if it was a skit or if it was the truth. Oh, you are. And just let me get off subject for a second. But the McDonald's things was a skit. The young lady has one child, and her and that young man, which is her child's father, does content a lot of skits on Instagram and TikTok. So that was a skit, but I'm glad we had the conversation because the comments was what really did me in the people's mindset and their thought process. But I just wanted to come back and tell y'all before I forgot that was a skit. But back to Kwani, supposedly somebody had called CPS on her again, telling them all type of things. The majority of it probably was lies, but now almost every child in her and Muffin's family has a Facebook account. So they're on their platforms cursing, dancing, talking being very disrespectful to followers, even though some of the followers are disrespectful. But see, that's what happens when you put children in adult situations. They shouldn't be exposed to that type of vulgarity and those type of insults because they shouldn't be on social media. Their job is not to be making an income for your household. Excuse me. Good morning, Miss Crystal. Miss Crystal says, yes, Ryan is the richest kid on Facebook. My nephew loved him too. Yes, Miss Crystal. My niece was making me mad every Christmas. She had a whole list of stuff that Ryan done reviewed that she wanted for Christmas. And I'm not really into buying toys for children anymore. My first niece ruined that. Like, we used to buy her karaoke machines and the real Jeep cars, and before you could blink your eye, it was tore up. So we spent hundreds of dollars on things because that was my first niece. So of course I'm a go all out. But baby, she tore stuff up before you can even put the battery in good. So I just refuse to buy toys for children anymore. I buy what you need. Miss Judy said, I agree. I'm old school mother. Yes, Miss Judy. Miss Latanya says we weren't allowed to say lie either. No, we were not. Miss Arlene said, my mom didn't play that. Mine didn't either. Hello, Miss T, how are you? Mine didn't either. She didn't, none of that talk back, none of that being disrespectful to adults. We were allowed to, if we did something, it was truly a village when we were growing up. We had some family that lived on the street that we grew up on, as well as just like the mothers of the block. They had permission to whoop us if we did anything that they deemed disrespectful, or being rude, doing something we didn't have any business. They were allowed to whoop us. And my mom, I never got a whooping from my mama or my daddy. Nobody. But I remember getting a whooping one time from the lady down the street. Um, because we were supposed to be going to brownie practice, and we decided we didn't want to go to brownie practice. We wanted to go to the playground and play on this thing we used to call the big toy. It was this big wooden toy, um at the school, the elementary school, and we didn't want to go to brownie practice, and we decided not to tell anybody we wasn't going to brownie practice. We were going to do what we wanted to do. So the troop leader called. My mom was actually in the hospital having my brother, and so the troop leader ended up calling the person that was in charge, and she walked up to the school with a switch in her hand and made us walk home. And soon as we got to her house, she started swinging that switch, and we flew up them stairs. We knew not to say nothing back, not to try to convince her that we didn't do what they said we did. None of that. She started with her child first, and by the time she can get me on my leg, I was halfway up the steps. And thank God she was a little older, so she wasn't running up no stairs. But that was my first whooping. And because they truly cared about what happened to us, the people that was around in the area that may have been no good for us, the molesters, the pedophiles. And we were somewhere we had no business without alerting an adult first. So we thought we were grown and we were going to do what we wanted to do, but no, that wasn't the way that was going to go. And baby, I learned from that, and you ain't have to worry about me no more because I don't do switches. AR girl says, I'm 53 and still don't say lie. Curse in front of my mother. I just can't do it. I'm a little bad now, especially when I get on this platform. I be forgetting that it's older people on here, and I try not to be disrespectful. But when I'm not doing what I do, I be cussing, y'all. Like, I just be sitting back and talking. And so I don't even really know I be cussing like that. But I get it from my mama, y'all. My mama is a curse. Good morning, Miss Ann. How are you feeling today? Good morning, Miss Marilyn. My mama gonna cuss me out because I just told her business, y'all. Miss AR girl says, I love this topic. I'm so glad you love it, Miss AR girl, and I'm so glad that you're here with me this morning. Miss Crystal says, right, grown adults, yes. Miss Florida Red said, oh yes, old girl still cutting up, and she should I don't know. Your commentaries don't include exclusive cursing and unnecessary bashing. Yes. Miss Jacqueline says slippers only and no sitting on beds with clothes on. Amen. Miss Jacqueline, you know I ain't going for nobody sitting on my bed with street clothes on. What you say? My niece was like, Auntie, what do that mean? Street clothes, the ones you got on. Well, I just came from the house and I took a bath where you was all out in the world, from your house to the car, to out of the car to TT house, all that pollution and seat. And God knows what y'all be eating in your parents' car. All that's on your clothes. Now you think you about to come and make my skin get a rash on it, baby girl? No. We Auntie got you some pants over there you put on, or Auntie gonna lay a blanket on over the bed and you can sit down. But I really prefer you just change your clothes if you're gonna be staying here a while. No, you could not do that, Miss Jacqueline. Miss Cooking with Tracy says, right, I see this every day and it works my nerves. 4 and 2 year olds controlling how her about to have another one. Oh yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Miss Crystal says, not sure if you follow Kwani Muffin's best friend, but Darian was over her house with a bonnet on this week, and those grown-ups on her live were down talking him again. Sad. Miss Crystal, I don't follow Kwani or Muffin, but because I peek in their lives from time to time, it comes down my news feed. I actually caught that live when they were making tacos, right? I just watched that earlier today, and they was asking him why did he have the bonnet on. He shouldn't be wearing a bonnet. A bonnet is for girls. Like, wow, you really gonna do that to a child? And all he wanted to do was come on here and cook tacos, and you want to criticize him for having a bonnet on. That bonnet is not affecting you in any type of way. And good, he has something covering up his hair. I mean, I didn't understand it, Miss Crystal. Miss Florida Red says, I keep trying to write and the not so smart phone keeps changing my words, so I'm having to retract my messages. It's okay, Miss Florida Red. We'll work it out. Miss Maydell says Miss Kwan had DCFS come to her house. Someone reporting her letting her children smoke and put Hennessy in the baby bottle. DFCS was at her house and she recorded it. Everything not for online. Miss Maydell, I ended up watching that live as well this morning. Um, I highly doubt that that lady put liquor in her baby's bottle. And even if she would have it, I don't think she's that cuckoo. She would have done it on live. But the young lady smoking weed and things like that, that's not far fetched because Gia smokes weed with her mama and the mama little girlfriend. So also they said that I forgot I know one name is Tario, but not it. I think it is Tario. I forget the oldest one name, the one who does hair. They said that they had her posted in the shade room with burn tips on the tip of her nails, saying that it probably came from her holding a blunt and smoking. And on one of her lives that she did, she sure looked high to me, in my opinion. I don't know if she had an allergy or allergic reaction or something, but baby, those eyes was chinky. You hear me? Those eyes was low. Miss Jacqueline said, "What's Cash Apps? What's what Cash App? What's their? Why do they post that Cash App, or what is my Cash App?" Good morning, Miss Teresa. How are you? Miss T Love Fam said that part. Florida Red said, "Let me try again. Yes, we must not forget about the shenanigans of old girl. Oh, we ain't forgot, Miss Florida Red. I got you, baby. I ain't forgot you." Miss Sansa Ray said, "LOL, Lawanda, you know because I'm 61 years old. Are you, Miss Sansaray? I didn't know that." Miss Shannon says, "Oh my God, yes, always telling other people to get a job, but never tell old girl to get one." You hear me? You hear me? Like everybody else needs to get a job, but she can sit up there in front of her phone and we, watch her eat crab legs and drool all over herself like a toddler. And that's content. That's content, you bees, as she said in the car. Let me not even get started because I ain't even here for that. But I got I just watched some of it, so it's still fresh in my mind. Good morning, Miss Kim. Miss Kim says, "Wow, my thoughts exactly. We like minded over here, Miss Kim." Miss Shannon says she's scratching for content to do now. Yes, Miss Shannon, I totally agree. Miss Judy says it's nothing worse than a disrespectful child with no home training. Miss Judy, you know those children that love to show out um, and act out in the malls or out in public, honey. I be wanting to intervene so bad. I be like, Tamika, just mind your business. Mind your business, girl. But I just can't believe the way that some parents allow their children to disrespect them and walk all over them. It's ridiculous, but you can tell how the way they run their household because they allow it. It's nothing. new for the children to act out. This is what they used to. They are used to throwing tantrums when they don't get their way and things like that in the household. So then you want to get annoyed and be embarrassed when it happens in public, but you set them up for it to be this way because you didn't correct the behavior at the onset of it. Miss Sansaray says that's because they're eating themselves to death because they're not used to having that kind of money to be able to go and eat out and everywhere like they are doing. What they should be doing is saving. You got that right, Miss Sansaray. And I be scared for them, Miss Sansaray, because every good thing comes to an end. And so, not saying that they won't be able to get monetized on social media, but things are going to change. Everything changes with time. And so, maybe not the amount of money that they are getting now, they probably won't be getting in the future. They probably will have more restrictions on things, have more qualifications in order to get monetized and things like that. So, you're making this good money now. Instead of eating crab boils every day, eating the sea and smelling like the sea, why don't you cook more at the house and put that money up because there's always a rainy day. And then when a rainy day do come, you're on here um posting your cash app and asking your subscribers to help you out when you just ate $100 worth of seafood in their face the day before. You have to make it make sense to me. Miss Pam said, my son was in the army. Tell your son I said thank you for his service, Miss Pam. Miss Florida Rest, oh, she's talking to AR girl. Miss Robin said, my 22-year-old son is in the military. Miss Robin, tell your son I said thank you for his service. Miss Sansa Ray says, girl, I'll be so over it because they even have their phones in the delivery room, all in the hospital. They don't want to miss a penny looking for views in cash apps. Nothing is private anymore. Nothing. Muffin sat up there and ate Subway and hot wings and wherever else and had her feet propped up on Najee's bed as she was in delivery. Nothing is private. Nothing is between you and your family anymore. Everything has to be broadcast. And now people feel like if you don't say it, if you don't post it, if you don't show it, then it's not true. No, some of us like to be discreet. And I'm not a bragger. I'm not that type of person. I'm very humble. I'm not the type of person that throw things up in people's face or look at me, look what I got. It's nothing that nobody else can obtain. So it's nothing special. So I don't do things like that. That's too much for me. Miss T Love Fam says, exactly, cousin. These kids are saying they want to be social media influencers following the footsteps of their parents who exposed them to social media just to make money. Absolutely. And they're not getting anything out of it but money. Money. They're not influencing anybody. They're not educating anybody. They're, so all it is a money grab. If I just take my phone around to the gynecologist to get waxed with me, to eat seafood, to be in my kitchen talking to my children, even discipline on TV, I'm gonna hit this live button because this is content. No, everything is not for everybody. Some things should be left. See, those type of things should be left in the home, not when somebody's accused of SAing somebody or somebody's molesting somebody or physically harming or mentally abusing somebody. See, they don't want to expose those type of things. They keep those things hush. Those are the things we need to be talking about and putting people out there so the world can see who they are and them getting what they deserve, and that's in prison. But you want to talk about all the stuff that don't make any sense. How much money you made, how much your crab boil cost, how much your tummy tuck gonna cost, how much your braces cost. Girl, we don't want to hear all that. Um, Miss Caramel says late tuning in. Hello, beautiful. Hello, chat. Hello, Miss Adams. Good morning. Miss Judy says I'm glad it was a skit because it was ridiculous. That's me too, Miss Judy. Good morning, Miss Lauren. How are you? Good morning, Miss Robin. Miss Robin says, good morning, chat. Good morning, Miss Vicky. Miss YouTube on Fire said, I knew the McDonald's video was a skit once I watched both parts. Good skit. Oh, there were two parts. Oh, you talking about when she came back on to explain herself? I ended up finding that video when we got off line, cousins, and I saw her all dialed up. I'm like, yeah, this got to be a joke. So you know me, investigation station. I went and investigated her, and I saw that she had a platform. Good morning, Miss Zelda. Miss YouTube on Fire says, I love your channel, cousin. You speak facts while teaching the unlearned. Thank you so much, Miss YouTube on Fire. I really appreciate that. Is that Jai So? Good morning. Miss Jaleesa says kids should be enjoying their childhood. My aunt always used to tell me, don't make my daughter get too grown too fast. I really understood what she was saying. Yes, absolutely. Because they only children for a limited amount of time. We spend more time, and I've said this before. We spend more time being adults than we do being children. So therefore, let children be children for as long as they could possibly be children. Let them preserve their innocence and their youthfulness as long as possible, because they'll be grown quick enough and be dealing with the stresses of the world. But right now they should be stress free, living in their innocence. Miss Zelda says, I never got a spanking. I did that one time, Miss Zelda. Good morning, Miss Ruth. Miss Ruth says, I have yet to see any of them talking about Sunday school or church. We went and it became a normal to do. No, but they'll talk about God, but you'll never hear them, properly say a verse, or they'll put in the parts that benefit their arguments or their stance at that moment, and most of them be all off of what the verse actually means. But even the devil can quote Bible verses. Miss Judy said, "Yo, mama gonna get you." My mama cuss it too. My mama said, "Watch it." Yeah, she gonna get me, Miss Judy. Soon as I hang this up, baby, she gonna be video chatting me. Miss YouTube on Fire said, yes, ma'am. Those were the days the neighbors could whoop kids when they did wrong and the parents appreciated it. Nowadays, I don't say nothing to these kids if they're not in my family. Yes, because good morning, Miss Tiffany. Yes, Miss YouTube on Fire, because the moment you try to chastise somebody else's child or discipline them, or teach them something, they want to go get their mama, and they want, and a lot of times the mother is ignorant, very rude and disrespectful, and she come and approach you on a tip that you wasn't even on. You just trying to save their child from going out the world backwards, or correcting a wrong behavior. But we're not allowed to do those things anymore, because in one breath, when it comes to financially supporting them, oh, it's each, it's a village, it takes a village, support me. But when it comes to disciplining them, or teaching them right from wrong, or righting their wrongs, oh no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have an opinion about their children. Yes, Ms. Zelda, outdoor smell. um Miss YouTube on Fire says, my oldest son is 44, and you can't pay him to curse in front of me, nor any seniors he's around. I understand, Miss YouTube on Fire. I see, Miss Zelda. Miss Jaleesa says, don't know if you have talked about this nowadays. Little girl don't even look like little girls anymore. No, they don't. Like I was speaking on earlier, Miss Jaleesa, they're walking around with anklets on, They're trying to get the mothers are trying to get them the same type of clothing so they could be twinsies, and it's just a little bit too much for me. And then they're posting them on social media with little kids in bikinis and things like that, when it's pedophiles out here, and you don't know who's saving your children's photos, who's uploading them to what website, what they're doing with your children's photos. So, and I actually have a what would you do that kind of piggybacks off of that, when you put your photos out here. But we'll do that on another day. Miss Robin said the spam is block. Hello, Miss Tracy. Hey, Auntie. Miss Zelda says I can't watch anymore. I understand. Miss YouTube on Fire said, right. Okay, she's talking to Miss Jaleesa. Miss Sansa Ray says, because they have the guys that have the long dreads and they have a hair bonnet things online all the time with their hair put up in them. Yeah, I didn't really see why they went in on that baby like that. Um, oh, my Cash App. Uh, I think is my what's my Cash App? Um, I'm gonna try to get it for you, Miss Jacqueline. I think my mom know it. Miss Robin, can you post my Cash App, please? Thank you so much, Miss Jacqueline. You're greatly appreciated. Miss T Love Fam said, it's so many posts about DCFS being called on Kwani in the blogger shade room. People saying it was a skit, and then people in there saying folks called on Kwani. I don't know. Like we were talking about with the whole McDonald's thing. Um, I don't really even know nowadays when they're serious and when they're not, because everybody's so caught up in doing the whole skit things. I would never do a skit speaking those type of things into the universe with child protective services because coming to my house. I do kind of think it was some truth to it, although she did not show the lady. A lot of people in the in the shade room was saying that it was Tinka, her daughter. I'm not sure. I didn't listen that hard to see. It sounded like a Caucasian lady to me, but I don't, watch her daughter enough to know if that was her daughter's voice or not. But you have to understand, it's a lot of people out here watching you, and they watch what your children do and what they say, and they're going to call on you if they see things that's not, what they consider normal. And that's the thing with the price you have to pay when you put your children on social media. Everybody didn't come from the same upbringing. Everybody didn't come and live the same life. So what you may deem normal, the other family may not. So keep your kids off social media, and then you won't have to worry about people calling. Unless I see you verbally or physically abusing your child on social media, I don't play the DCF S games. I just don't do it. And a lot of times DCFS don't step in and do what they supposed to do anyway. Miss Zelda says, exactly why does she not need a job? We all need a job, unless you don't put in your dues. Miss Ray said, Kwani don't have no baby that sucks a bottle. Yes, she do, Miss Ray. That little girl. What's the little girl name, y'all? Um, the one who's still in Pampers. What's the baby name? I for, Zuri. Yeah, Zuri still suck a bottle and wear Pampers. Sometimes, Miss Ray. Miss Crystal says, you are so true. Hello, Miss Angelina. Good morning. Miss Crystal says, tearing that food up, honey. I can't listen. I was watching our girl earlier, catching up on the last of her lives, and I literally had to turn it off because my stomach started hurting so bad, and I was feeling so queasy watching her eat like a pig getting up slop. Like it was ridiculous. Miss Zelda said, if I start a page, it will be about saving rainy days, etc. Go ahead, Miss Zelda. We all need to get some teaching in that. I know I do, because y'all know my best friend told me don't buy no wig on when he was here, and to put it on my stock. but I didn't. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I didn't. Miss T Loves Fam says the sad part of it all, these bloggers know what's going on, or else they would stop posting their entire life on social media and telling people to share. This causes people to react to what they see. You said it, Miss T Love's Fam. Absolutely. Every word of what you said, I agree. And then they say, I don't care where you share it to, just share it. Share it to the roast groups. Share. So you're gonna share, you want somebody to share your content into a petty group where they do nothing but talk about folks. Then you get mad when people come in here and talk about you. Please make it make sense. Hello, Miss Chanel, how are you? Miss YouTube on Fire said, yes, ma'am, and then have a problem when the men say something to them. Well, if you want to be respected, treat yourself with respect as well. Absolutely. You have to give somebody something to respect, and you have to demand respect for yourself, and you have to respect yourself as well. People are going to treat you how they see you treat yourself. They see you like people were saying about old girl telling us she look ghetto and things like that. They're going to treat her the way she acts, the way she come off. Miss Robin says my son was in USAF. Now he's out and they hire him. He does air traffic control, and I'm so proud of him. Good for your son, Miss Robin. Good job. Good job, Miss Robin. Miss Shannon says, then got mad when people talk about them. Just think, if it wasn't on social media, you had the older women in their neighborhood to talk about you. Absolutely. Regardless to what. It's somebody's gonna have an opinion. Like Miss Shannon said, the older women in the neighborhood, some of them was just as messy as the day was long. And they'll just sit up and they'll talk about everybody on the block. They didn't care whether you was a child or not. So whatever we do, we're going to have people criticizing us, critiquing us, giving their thoughts and opinions. But it's up to you what you choose to give them to react on. Hello, Alum official channel. How are you? Welcome. Thank you, baby. Oh, is it all of them? Is it all of them official channel? Let me know, baby. Miss Lawanda says Meta needs to do something serious. Evaluations on the people putting out garbage on their pages, being buffoons daily, has to stop. Nothing of substance, just dysfunction of uneducated people. Say it again, Miss Lawanda. Nothing. And they get on here, they give um they speak things that are not factual. They can't pronounce or enunciate things. They can't spell. They can't speak proper English when it's necessary. They talking to the DCF workers like they're talking to their homegirls. It's like, what are you teaching people out here? And there's a lot of people that look up to them. And it's like, this is what they're going to take away from your channel, how to be ignorant and uneducated and unhappy, because although most of them say people are haters and everybody hating on them, no, they a lot of them are unhappy because they sit up and that's all they talk about is the haters and how much, and have to justify the things that they are doing and justify the money that they're making and throw it up in people's face and things like that. You're unhappy because if you were happy, none of that stuff would matter to you, because money doesn't make you happy, as we can see with a lot of them on there. Y'all come on crying soon as somebody has an opinion different than yours. That money can't keep you. That money cannot make you happy. It's not gonna happen. Miss Cooking with Tracy says, my great nephew, I'm about to stop supporting her, all the money going to prison for the 2-year old. I can't do it anymore. Too draining. About to have another one. Yeah, you do what you have to do for your sanity, Miss Tracy. Don't let nobody drain you. Protect your peace at all costs. Miss Shannon says, woo, Lord, I got my ass beat. Oh, good morning, Miss Mel. How are you? Miss Crystal says Kwani and Muffin are making excellent money with the reels and TikToks as well. They are ranking in major monies on a monthly basis. Big money, they need financial counselor with it all. Yes, they need a CPA. They need somebody to actually keep a track of how much they owe, how much they're going to owe for taxes, to put money up quarterly so they won't be looking like old girls singing the blues about the IRS at the beginning of next year. So they need to learn how to budget and manage their money, because none of this is forever. And even if you are granted longevity on these platforms, not everybody's going to continue to tune in to you. Like, people change. I can't watch the same people every day, all day, because I get tired of people really fast. So I can't watch in when they're ignorant and arrogant and conceited and want to be bougie but boo ghetto. I can't watch that type of stuff. So people are going to start falling away like they did with old girl. Miss Zelda said, my son is retired Navy and now is a straight state trooper. Okay, now, um, Miss Zelda. Miss Robin says, um, Miss Jacqueline, I got the notification on my phone. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Miss Robin said, these kids are not the same. It's a new generation of parenting. Yes, it's like I think Miss Florida Red said, it's babies raising babies at this point. Thank you, sis. And thank you, Mom. Yeah. Hello, Miss Maisha. Is babies raising babies. So they have the same, they haven't grew up from being a teenager and stuck into whatever place that they had the child at. So the children are becoming more so of their friends than their child. They're having more of a friendship type of relationship opposed to mother and daughter. Miss Zelda says, I am always speaking to young people when I see them. I will tell them things about pulling their pants so they can get a job. They receive me well. I have helped them get jobs, etc. Thank you so much, Miss Zelda, for being big brother for a lot of these children, because they need the guidance because they're not getting it at home. And if your delivery is right, a lot of them will receive you. Hello, Miss Justice React. Can we all please welcome in Miss Justice React? Which I'm pretty sure you already did. I'm just behind on comment. See, I know how I like to interact with all of y'all. But it was this incident that happened on the side of my place, and the young kids, the police ended up getting called on them, and the police ended up making them walk home because they took the young man to prison, or to jail, excuse me, who they arrested, who had a gun in the car, and they didn't have a ride home or nothing. So I went outside to speak with the young man to ask them what was going on. Why were they over here? Why were they so far? They were about 35 minutes away from their home. And why did they decide to pull up in this area and think that they can have a party where people on the street, where people work and have lives and have to get up in the morning? Why did they think that that was okay? So I went out there and talked to them, and I didn't go out there yelling at them or belittling them or try to make them feel like I was scolding them. I wanted to educate them about times and places, and being with the wrong people and things like that. And then I ended up paying for them an Uber to go home because they had no way to go home. But you get your kids out here on the streets, 17 years old, with somebody with a pistol in the car. Now they over laid out face down on the street, and I'm pretty sure their parents don't know where they at, or probably thought they were where they said they were going to be, and that was a party that they left and decided to come in the middle of a residential street, turn on their radio, jump on top of their car, start twerking and dancing and drinking liquor, and nobody was over the age of 21. It's just ridiculous. Miss Tracy says, "Cousin, I love your platform." Thank you so much, Miss Tracy. Miss Tracy, Miss Justice React says she eats like a hog at the trial. Yes. Um. Uh. He's so hopeful. Break that down for me, baby. How I'm supposed to say that? Savings, invest. It's about what you spend it on. Absolutely, absolutely. Miss Robin says, "Hello, Justice React." Miss Jaleesa says, "I understand people got to make content, but sometimes they go too far, way too far." Thank you so much, Miss Lori Ann. Welcome to the family, baby. Thank you so much for your membership. It's greatly appreciated. I'm trying to get back to the comment. He said, "What's up, though, y'all? Nothing. Just talking about these children that are making a living on social media, but the this service is doing them because they are being um, exposed to too many things that they shouldn't even have to be worrying about at their ages." Miss YouTube on fires. Okay, she's talking to Zelda. You said, "What is we teaching our kids?" Not enough of how to be resourceful, how to be independent, not to rely on social media. And I see a lot of times now, because their parents are making a quick buck on social media, their kids are kind of going under their wing and want to do the same thing as them. Nobody's really thinking about education at the high school anymore, or having something that they can fall back on if this fails. Just because your parent or your sister or brother has a platform don't mean that it's going to have be viable for you. Don't mean everybody's going to receive you um as a content creator or influencer, ever whatever you want to be called. Miss Cooking with Tracy said, "But that's a true fact. It happened every day to Madame stores." Absolutely. Yes, the money matters. Absolutely. Without money, let's be honest, who would care? Money definitely matters. Money is essential, but money shouldn't be the focal part of your life, because with or without it, you should know how to survive. You should know how to be happy, because sometimes we have it and sometimes we don't. You should learn how to be able to maneuver through life when you have a lot of money or when you have a little bit of money. It's all about how you prepare yourself, how you budget, what the things you spend your money on. You know, we out here spending money on 100, 200, $300 on crab boils a week, when that money could have been in an investment or in a savings account, growing interest, and some type of building fund, something else besides eating your money away. Miss Ray says Muffin wants to be around talking about she got on Tiffany bracelet or necklace, whatever. Well, anybody who see her, it's not ever gonna think it came from Tiffany, because that's way out of her class. Yeah, Miss Ray, it's the way you carry yourself. You could wear the most expensive things in the world, but if you don't carry your weight in that manner, no matter what you have on, you make it look tacky, in my opinion. Miss Crystal said, "Same here." Miss Ray said, "PH over there with the knockoff Gucci outfit." Then she said she had on $600 Gucci sneakers on. Well, if that's what you used to wear, that's what they think it is, because you've never been able to afford it real. We gonna talk about that later. Hopefully, if I feel better tonight, that's what I'm aiming for tonight, Miss Ray, because you know I'm ready for that. Miss Florida Red says, "Right, I step back from many platforms to refocus, because baby, it's so easy to get caught up." It is. It very much so is, Miss Florida Red. And you start to dumb yourself down listening to the things that they say, listening to them to pronounce things wrong and spewing out false information. I'll leave off feeling like, am I really smarter than a fifth grader? What did I just listen to? Miss YouTube on Fire said, "I can't watch a lot of these people. It disturbs my spirit. Too much cursing, thirsting, and negativity. I like who I like, and that's it. And that's all I understand." I'm gonna read a few more comments and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I don't want to wear y'all out on me just in case I do come back tonight. Ms. Zelda says they really need a CPA attorney will help them and they won't own IRS. I could give that information to Miss Millionaire. She's really messed up agreeing to pay them all of that money. I tried I tried. I was in her inbox trying to give her some wisdom about some things. She didn't want to receive it, so now she's paying $100,000 every time she blinked to the IRS. But some people live and they learn, and some people don't. Hello, Anthony Simple Vlog. How are you, baby? Welcome. Ms. Zelda says my brother owed 2 million. His CPA attorney got it to where he didn't owe a dime. It's what you know, I promise. Wow. Ms. Zelda, absolutely. But when you're making that type of money, somebody else should definitely have a part in your finances so you can know what you can spend in order to sustain. Hello, Miss Jackie. In order to sustain your lifestyle, in order to, not go broke every year and have to start from the beginning every beginning of the year because you're going to owe the majority of your money to taxes. We have to do better. We can make all of this money, but if you don't know what to do with it, and if you're not making it make money for you, then it's going to be useless in the long run, especially when you're coming on here still asking people for cash apps and donations. When you just was bragging about you made $70,000 in one month, $100,000 in one month, eight, five, $600 worth of seafood boils in a month, and now you asking me for something. Hello, Hirish, how are you? So, but anyway, cousins, I thank you, Miss Latanya says I enjoyed this conversation. Miss Jaleesa says we should always tell our children to be better than us, and we set examples every day for them. Hold on one second. Them it's always start at home. Absolutely, Miss Jaleesa. And we gonna end it off on that. Cousins, you are greatly appreciated. You know that. And I appreciate you all for being here with me this early. And hopefully if this tooth stop aching and I can get a hold to my dentist, I will be back later on tonight. But I'm gonna try to thug it out either way because I'm tired of holding on to these notes and I'm ready to laugh with y'all. So y'all know I love y'all from the bottom of my heart and I appreciate everything y'all do for me. And I will see you all later. Have a great Saturday, cousins.